What's up, homie G's? Welcome back to the channel. So my wife and I started a homestead project in 2019 or so, maybe 18. Maybe we bought the land in 18. Maybe we really got it going in 19, I think. 2020, we put it into hyperdrive where we were gonna do it beforehand. We were like, yeah, we're gonna build out like a food forest and do chickens and all that stuff. But in 2020, it was like, we need to put a little pep in this step. Like we need to be moving here. We need to be getting this going on. My first piece of advice to anyone wanting to do anything like a homesteader, you're sitting there and you're like, what if me and my buddies, we bought some land and then we had like this off-grid, what? I've done that too. I've put in hours in those conversations as well. My first piece of advice is begin. I started in 2015 with my first plant, like my first edible plant. It was at a rental house. It was a loquat. I got it from a customer of ours who brought it over as a seed from Italy. And we were doing some land clearing for her, and she was like, oh, well, I hate to let this one go, but it has to go because we're putting a shed there, so do you want it? And I'm like, absolutely. And so I literally went, put it in. I should have put it in a pot, but I planted it at that rental house. And eventually I moved out of that rental house, built a tiny house, put the tiny house on rented land, moved the loquat there, and then moved the loquat to a piece of land that we had purchased. I think first and foremost, you can just start. Like just wherever you are, wherever you sit, you should start. Because in homesteading, it has a super high failure rate. Like year 3, year 5, people are out. And I felt like this like a couple months ago where I was like, man, this thing is dragging on and on. It'd be just easier just to sell this thing and just go and like live on a sailboat, screw it. But then I thought through and I'm like, well, I really do want to, like all my calories I consume, I really do want to be part of that process. And I do want the rewards and fruits, like literally, of my labor for decades to come. So it's going to be worth pushing through here. But start, get the reps, get the experience. You can literally just begin with like composting under your kitchen sink in an apartment. You can just start that. You can start doing herbs. You can start doing tomatoes. You can definitely, and I didn't know this, but you can definitely be in the chicken game, the rabbit game, the pigs, cows. You can do any of that with rented land. Like, and you don't even have to necessarily pay rent on a lot of land. Like, it's just not being used. People don't want to mow it. And so you can just approach and be like, hey, can I put cows on here? And you can do temporary fencing on it. Then you can do electric fencing and do rotational grazing, and you can do all those things with literally just cutting them in and be like, I'll give you a percentage of the cows that I harvest off of here. Like you can just do it like that, where you have like no fixed cost. I didn't realize that. I think it would have been really advantageous to start with chickens on a mobile tractor, so not chicken coops. A lot of homesteaders do the chicken coop thing. We did that for like a year and a half, 2 years, figured out that was not what's up. And I had a buddy recently, big YouTube channel, was like, dude, are you worried about this bird flu stuff? And I was like, no, dude, like, no. Like my birds are as healthy as they could possibly be. Like they literally live out in a food forest. They move from area to area with an electric fence every few days. We're just beginning to get organic grains into their feed. Eventually we'll have no grains in their feed. They get sunlight 12 hours a day. I mean, no, I'm not worried about bird flu, bro. I think we've got 10 square feet per bird. Tyson, if it's free range, is rocking 1 square foot per bird. Like that's free range bird right there. Like you can have 100 square feet, 10 by 10, and you got 100 birds in there, and those are cage free. Free range is 2 feet. So you got 100 birds in the 10 by 10 area. Like my truck is probably like 5 by 5. So they put 50 birds in here and be like, oh, they're cage free. Like, okay. You know, if they doubled the size of it, they'd call it, like 2 feet, they'd call that free range. That's just, once you start really diving into food, you realize like the American food supply is literally poison. It's completely poison. It's like seed oil is motor oil from World War II. After World War II, they're like, what should we do with all this processed seed oil? And they're like, put it in French fries. They'll love it. Like that's literally like canola oil. Like none of that. Like you can make diesel fuel out of that stuff, but you shouldn't be eating that. Like it's like we spilled a bunch of canola oil out here at the homestead I don't know, a couple months ago, and I told Coach Kurt, I was like, bro, we're gonna have so many ants here tomorrow, and he's like, nah, they don't want it. but we won't have a ant out here. And he was right. It sat there for weeks, and it just sat on the grass, and nothing touched it. It's just pretty nuts. We had a cake from the holidays. It had some red 40 in it. It had the red frosting. We threw it in the chicken area because chickens are great. They're kind of like hogs. They'll just eat whatever. And they didn't touch it. No ants touched it. Just right there, though. That's your Christmas holiday cake, whatever birthday cake stuff going on. It's just kind of sketch. So I would start immediately, like with mobile infrastructure. Joel Salatin is great on this. He's got, over 13 books, I believe. Endless podcasts to listen to. He's on Rogan. You can listen to his Rogan podcasts. You can watch his own YouTube channel. He's got a podcast called Beyond Labels. He's got all his information's out there. But you can start with a mobile coop and electric netting, and literally just, the equity, the farm equity, I thought was in the land, and it's actually in the management. So I didn't realize that. So that's why we started late. And I'd say like 2019, 2020, we're a little late because I had an urge to do it in 15, 16, definitely 17. But I just didn't realize like I could just start now. And so you can start now. So don't let the land hold you back. Don't be like, oh, well, one day we're going to buy some acreage. And no, because one day is not a date. Like you've got to be like, on March 19th of 2024, I will be doing this. And this is how I'm going to start. And if you got like $100, $250, you can start. And you can also go and network with other people that are already doing it and volunteer with them, which is a good way to hedge your bets, where you could just go and approach somebody and be like, hey, I know you got a homestead going on. Can I help out and get some of the proceeds from this thing? Whether it's monetary, whether that's food, whether that's experience. Like, I would recommend that immediately. Like, for example, we have a 6-acre homestead going on. We've got 100 plus, different varieties of fruit trees planted. We've got probably 200 yards of mulch right now to put out. We've got, we're trying to go upwards of 500 birds over the next 2 years, like to have 500 chickens. We're going to have, probably 2 or 3 cows, but we're going to lease some land around us. I'm trying to strategically buy it around us. I'm going to use land lease deals to lock them in. So I've like identified some land I want to own. I'm going to approach the owners and be like, hey, I'd like to put cows on this. I'd like to fence this. I'd like to maintain this. Also, I want first refusal when you sell. And I'll pay X amount per year to have this land. So, that's just a way that I'm going to get up to 10 cows or whatever, just to get going. Where it's like, all right, I got 5 acres there, I got 8 acres there, they're connected, I got another 6 acres there, okay, that's 18, and you just are like, all right, well, we're getting there. So I would immediately start. That's my first thing. My second piece of advice is one project at a time. One project at a time. It's super easy to be like, dude, I'm doing the pond, I'm doing the pump, I'm doing the solar panels, I'm doing the chickens, I'm doing the cows, I'm doing the pigs, I'm doing this edible food forest, I'm making honey, I'm doing clay pots. Bro, it's gonna be awesome. We're making biodiesel for the tractor. Like, yeah, all that's cool. And I agree, all of that is during the process. Like, that's where we're going. Like, we want to get to the spot where it's like we're off grid and we're pretty self-sufficient, but we're wealthy. Meaning like we can specialize in what we do. And like one of the things that we do is like, I do trees. Why do we do trees? Because I need the carbon. I literally can't get enough carbon. I know that sounds weird, but it's like I need as much mulch as I can possibly get. And like to build what I'm building. Otherwise the cost of building what I'm building like would be into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So doing trees is a way to get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars and also get hundreds of thousands of dollars in resources. It's not like a crazy life-changing project, but it's like, cool, build a tree company, one day sell the tree company, have all the carbon, expand it, whatever. But you can literally start by volunteering or just start where you are. And then 2, do one project at a time. So if you're going to focus on one thing or you're going to do something, make sure that it's the lead domino. It's the one thing that moves everything forward. My buddy started a homestead recently, doesn't want to consult his boy Trav. He does and he doesn't. Like yesterday when his new tractor got a hole in it, like a tire, nailed through the tire, he's calling his boy Trav. Like, yo bro, so what do I do? It's stuck in the middle of the road. I'm like, put the bucket down, try to like, it's off the rim, try to get it out of the way so it's not in your construction area. And, get the rim off, get the jack stands under it, the whole thing. However, homeboy didn't want to listen to me on the well. That's why he's stuck. I got stuck at his property too because it's all sand. And it's like, dude, you need to get a well. Step one, get a well. The first project you should have been working on was getting water. Get water to your land. Oh, bro, I want to go out there with my tractor and start cutting some trees. No, step one, what if your tractor light's on fire? Where's your water at, bro? Step one, well. Homie's doing a few different projects now. He's starting, but he doesn't want to listen to his boy Trav, where it's like, dude, one project at a time. Trav has like way too many projects out. Like I look at myself and I'm like, bro, the report card I would give you here is not good because you've just got like building the new shop, you're building the food forest, you're doing lake projects, you're doing or pond projects, you know, you want to do like all these other things, because it's like there is a synergy to things. Like for example, once you have a food forest and then you add chickens, it's like chickens are one, food forests are one, but together they don't make two, they make four. And you know, you add rabbits into it and together they don't make three, they make five. And so there is this flywheel to it. So the tendency is, well, I'm gonna just get all these things going and then somehow they'll all cross the finish line about the same time and I'll just turbo out and just have like just have it going on. And it's just that's just not the way to do it. It doesn't happen like that. It's taken me a lot longer to do it like that than if I had just done the one project at a time. Like, okay, what's our lead domino? Sometimes you got 2-3 things in the works. You got a couple of lines in the water. That just naturally happens. Like for example, I've got this gooseneck. This gooseneck has to get, you know, this gooseneck project has to get done. This is kind of a work project for us. It helps at the homestead, but like we got to get this thing done. That's my lead project right now. I get the gooseneck done, that changes my business more than anything else. I'm also looking at a new lift. I'm looking at a new chipper. I'm looking at a lightning loader. I'm looking at a bunch of other things. The number one thing that's going to make my business better right now, that freaking gooseneck. Like that gooseneck getting like purple, like we're getting fabricated first. All the toolboxes, all the lights, all the winches, all the things on, all the new tires, all the things, and then purple, a new deck. And then it's like we have some gear that's not on a trailer that will complete everything we own. Will be on a trailer hooked to a truck, ready to go any day, any moment, ready to ride. That's the number one thing. Then I'm gonna look at another lift. Then I'm gonna get another chipper. Then I'm gonna do the next thing. Homestead's the exact same thing. Start with one lead domino and start working it and working it and working it. So wrap up, start where you're at, literally start now, because you might get into it and be like, I'm not really digging it. Also, it does take, I've experienced 5 years. My mentor, who's a big farmer, told me 7 years. He's like, Trav, you're not gonna make a profit for 7 years in farming. That's the way it goes. The dude's also got like 15 million that he's forgot about. Like he buys land, sells land, you know, and he started on rented land. Like he started a sod farm on rented land. Then he moved into a tree farm. Then he moved into buying it. Then he moved into, you know, the whole thing. So start where you're at. Volunteer with somebody. You can also, and this is the last bit here for you guys, like this would be like tip 3, kind of goes in with tip 1 for you guys here at the end of the video, which is like less than half of you homies that hang out to the end. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider just hitting that subscribe so you guys catch this. Also lets everyone on YouTube know, like, yo, this content's pretty good, it's worthwhile listening to. This I think is the biggest hack and no one's done it, and I'm really interested in doing this. So if you do this, please send me a comment, hit me up in an email, Trav@OnSiteTrav. I'd love to talk to you about this further. Here it is. Dude, build a network of homesteaders. Seriously, build a network of homesteaders. It's so freaking easy. They're all on Instagram. They're all hashtagging their crap. You can find them all. They're all on their Facebook pages. You can find them all. They're all at the farmers markets. And start building this network and literally find for like dudes like me, like, yo, where can I get, like, I have my own personal network for some things like honey, and I obviously produce my own eggs, and I've got someone that does the cows all the way finished, like, you know, cut up, frozen, the whole thing. But like build a network of homesteaders and help them move their product. If they have product, if they have surplus product to sell, help them do that. Also connect it. Be a place where it's like, oh, do you know guys that dig ponds like Trav? Do you guys know guys that do tree service and mulch and can install and design food forests and do all the things that you're gonna need in the homesteading community? And it's one of the largest communities, like as far as growth goes, it's one of the largest growth curves like in any sector right now. Like the homestead tsunami is a thing. Like it's getting very popular. Like from our real estate sales and things like that. Like we a lot of people interested in buying 5-acre stuff right now. Like it's not gonna stop. Like the crazier things get, the more it's gonna be like that. You know, if things get really crazy, it's just gonna be explosive. Like it's gonna be absolutely explosive. But that whole entire industry is untouched. Like, for example, can I buy a already completed homestead? I don't know. I'm sure you can. But like where? Who? Like how? What's the cost of that? Somebody needs to put together data, put together a Substack, put together a YouTube channel, put together a WordPress site, like put together a blog, whatever it is. Just like, here's the data, here's the network. I think that there's a tremendous amount of opportunity in doing that. There's a company called Vital Eggs. They sell eggs for $10 a dozen. The dude made several hundreds of millions of dollars. One of my buddies I hunt with is buddies with him, like buddies with the founder. Killed it, just selling super high-end pasture-raised eggs, super high-end. And it's like, that's one product. Like, imagine you go and you build an entire network of homesteaders, of people that want to be independent, off-grid, that are, you know, maybe prepper, maybe in that category, maybe, you know, they're trad, you know, whatever. And nobody's touching that. So as a dude that like doesn't own a homestead, not involved in it, you could be living in an apartment, you could be living in a van. It would be even easier to do in a van, actually. And because you'd be super mobile, and you start putting together the network of all these homesteaders and helping connect them with each other, dude, I don't know how you monetize on that. You could sell products, but the value of the network is going to be huge. And if you put that together, I can't imagine that monetarily you're not going to be very rewarded, and certainly psychologically and physically you're going to be super rewarded. I mean, so that's the perfect example going in with step one. You can start now. You can literally just start right now. So thank you guys for being here. See you guys down in the comments. Hit that subscribe bell, and I'll see you on the next one.